It's time now for business. Let's say hello to Kate Moody and an alarming tale of hackers targeting corona vaccine data.
Yeah, this is coming from security experts at IBM. They say that hackers appear to be trying to disrupt or steal information about the cold chain, which is a crucial part of keeping the vaccines that are being rolled out at the ultra low temperatures that are needed for them to be effective. Now, IBM says that it's uncovered a targeted campaign which has been underway since September. Researchers, medical groups, and government agencies have been receiving phishing emails from someone who appears to have been impersonating an executive at a Chinese medical supply company. IBM says the goal appears to have been to harvest credentials, possibly to gain future unauthorized access to corporate networks and sensitive information relating to the vaccine distribution. Now, we don't know who is behind this hacking operation. IBM says that it believes that it's been backed by a foreign government. There have been previous separate warnings about hacking attempts by Russian, Chinese, and North Korean entities in relation to the coronavirus vaccine rollout. Now, maintaining this cold chain, which is from the laboratory where it's made throughout the shipping process to distribution hubs, is a really delicate and very expensive undertaking. For now, there's no evidence that that process has been compromised, but it's really a reminder of what's at stake here, both in terms of intellectual property rights and, of course, public health.
In other news, Kate, the United States showing that jobless claims are down.
Yeah, hitting the lowest level since the pandemic really began, Francois. We are still, though, at nearly 3 times the pre-pandemic average. The 712,000 applications that were recorded last week for new people filing new claims for unemployment benefits in the U.S., it's still the lowest since that peak of nearly 7 million in a single week that we saw back in March. Claims have been rising for about 3 weeks in a row in November, although the Thanksgiving holiday last week may have skewed this most recent data. Now, the number of coronavirus infections in the U.S. is continuing to rise. More cities and states are imposing restrictions here, and economists continue to warn that more layoffs could come and that the labor market could remain weak for many months to come. In total, 20 million people in the United States were receiving some kind of unemployment benefits last week. That's compared to about 1.5 million in total a year ago. Meanwhile, some 12 million Americans could stand to lose their financial support on December the 31st if Congress doesn't really agree on some sort of relief or stimulus, which would extend the emergency benefits that were enacted at the beginning of the pandemic. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill continue to haggle over starkly different partisan proposals. The Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, though, saying this afternoon that he's hopeful a compromise can be reached before the end of the year.
And before we go, Kate, let's do the numbers. How are the markets doing?
Well, the market's vaccine boost seems to have run its course, at least for now. We saw a mixed close for the major European indices. London's FTSE 100 ending slightly above the flat line. The CAC 40 and DAX were both below it. We saw shares of Rolls-Royce jumping 15% in London after it said the pandemic had given it new opportunities to develop engine technology. Wall Street's trending higher, the Nasdaq hitting a new record high during its session. Shares of Boeing have risen 8%. That's driving trade on the Dow Jones after Boeing confirmed that it had received its first order for its revamped 737 MAX. Ryanair saying it'll be buying 75 of those jets. The MAX is slowly returning to service in the United States, although regulators in other parts of the world, including here in Europe, have yet to give it the green light for those software updates, which Boeing, of course, hopes will go some way to restoring both carriers and public trust in that plane.
Kate Moody, many thanks. We'll have more business news for you later, including the closing word.